what were the kind of I don't know, psychological profiles of people, or even just for yourselves, going through the various halving cycles? Like, what was your conviction level, personal beliefs around whether or not you would be eating cat food in the future? Like, starting from first cycle, second cycle, third cycle.
Junseth can go first because he's seen all the cycles. I've only seen 2.
So I've been in a weird position, I think, because Bitcoin has always felt expensive to me at all times. I've said this to other people. When Bitcoin was 18 cents, I was sleeping on air mattresses and barely paying my electric. When Bitcoin was $7, I was, making enough to eat ramen. When Bitcoin was like 14 to 200, I was, my first business was just getting off the ground and kind of, tapping out. When Bitcoin was at 1,000, that business was kind of like clear to me that wasn't going to work out. When Bitcoin, and I started another one, it took another 7 years for that to really get off the ground. Like Bitcoin for me at like 30,000 was very expensive, and now it's very expensive. It's always kind of been the same type of expensive in terms of like my own ability to buy it. So like for me, I've always felt very much like an observer of Bitcoin. Like I'm a participant in some ways, but I've always felt very much like an observer. And I think that was kind of crucial with the BU stuff, because in some ways we were the Madden of like of Bitcoin. We would just kind of laugh at people who had really bad takes and stupid thoughts, and then announce it and just like kind of announce the game on the field. So like, that's kind of the thing. I've just always felt like an observer in Bitcoin. Like I'm not really like the idea of like a Bitcoin community to me. I think that the idea of a culture is important, but like the idea of a specific Bitcoin community, like these people that want to establish citadels. I mean, half the people in Bitcoin are retarded. I don't want to hang out with them. So like, they're autistic, they're dumb, they're like, hot chicks that are here to like get my money. Like there's very few people that are like worth my time. So like I don't, and I'm probably not worth yours as a anti-Semitic Jew hating neo-Nazi. Like you probably don't want to hang out with me. So like or maybe you do. I mean, we do. I guess you are Persian, so you and I probably have the Jew thing in common.
So I'll go. I came in. Luckily, I had been aware of Bitcoin 2011 to buy drugs on the Silk Road. I didn't end up going through with that because sending drugs to yourself through the mail was a felony, and I was like, no thanks. So I didn't end up buying the Bitcoin. I probably should have. It was like $7 at the time or something like that. Then in 2013, my buddy came to me at the bar and he was like, bruh, remember those Bitcoins? I was like, yeah. He's like, they're $1,200. I was like, oh, this was my chance to get rich, and I blew it, right? And so I spent the rest of my night nursing my beer, but I knew enough to know you don't FOMO in at the top of something. So I waited. And then I saw like, post Mt. Gox collapse that Bitcoin is trading like low 200. And I was like, cool. And that was a good time. So I started buying Bitcoin then, rode it up 20K in 17, rode it back down. And I think that's the part that's most analogous to where we're at now, I think, is in 2017, or sorry, 2018, like late 2018, when the price bottomed around 3,200. It felt very similar to how we're at now. I'm not going to call a bottom, but like 17K felt like capitulation to me. And, there was just this sort of internal sense I had that like nothing has changed. Nothing is fundamentally different with Bitcoin. In fact, Bitcoin got stronger because it just got through the block size war or whatever. So I'm going to batten down the hatches. I'm going to stack more Bitcoin. This thing might not come back until 2023, 2024. That's what I was thinking at the time. And I was like, I'm just going to go the distance with it and buy as much Bitcoin as I can. That's what I did. And then that was sort of when I became American Hodl, because I was like, I need to rally the troops. Everyone needs to do this in unison. And so then I was like out on Twitter being like, stack your fucking coins, you pieces of shit, whatever. And just whatever tactics I would use to make that happen. And
Paul Revere.
Yeah, kind of like Paul Revere style. And then now when we're
stack your shit.
It's almost like it's almost like Bitcoiners are playing a game of chicken with the Federal Reserve, and hodling is you just not swerving, and stacking is you pressing the gas harder, right? But if you panic sell, you swerved like a little bitch and you've lost the game of chicken, right? And I think in order to win a game of chicken, you have to be willing to die. Those are the people who win the game, right? So if you just go, listen, I'm going to put all of my net worth into this, and I'm either going to be fucking poor as shit or rich as balls, and there's not going to be a middle ground. Like, that's where I'm at. And you have that level of conviction. Like, now's a great time for you.
A good game of chicken always ends with either one winner or two losers.
Exactly.
Because they both die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. One winner or two losers. It's like Russian roulette.